Hello, my friends, and welcome back. Thank you very much for being with me again today. I don't know if you remember, but it was 2 days ago when Zelensky, the president of the nation of Ukraine, came out and stated that there are about 600,000 Ukrainian troops fighting the Russians. Well, now, I don't know if that's true or not. I suspect there's more than that. If there's only 600,000, that means they're just very much depleted. I don't think that's only 600,000. But anyway, yesterday there was that Putin's Q&A marathon where population of Russia asks the president of the Russian Federation questions and he answers them. And during that Q&A that I think last year he did not organize it, this year he did. So during the Q&A session, he told everyone how many Russian troops are fighting in Russia's military special operation in Ukraine. And there, guess what? That's about 600,000 Russians fighting over there. Now, I always said that the Russians have about 600,000 over there, no more than, I would say, 800. I never said, it was almost impossible to think the Russians have 1 million. So when these guys are telling us about Russia and Russia being having a manpower shortage, I will always laugh. Why? Because I know Russia has the potential of at least 30 million people. If they conduct a general mobilization, the Russians potentially can get at least 30 million people. They have a population of 150 or about 145 million people. So if you calculate, which I did many times before, you get to at least 330 million. So now he tells us the exact number. So let's see what he said. We don't have to necessarily believe him either. Sputnik, and this is from 4 hours ago. Putin says 617,000 troops fighting in special military operation in Ukraine. Doesn't surprise me because that's based. Why do I think that's accurate? Because that's a kind of the number I came up with. So why I didn't just wake up and come with that number. Russian President Vladimir Putin on Thursday. It's not hard. It's not hard to know when they to figure it out. When the Russians put their troops at the border with Ukraine, remember in January, February 2022, before the invasion, they placed over there about 200,000. Now, how many hundreds of thousands were in there already? In Donetsk, Luhansk, people over there. Again, how many were over there? 70,000. I'm just guessing. Right? So let's say you got at least 300,000, and then they had a mobilization of another 300,000. So they would make 600,000, and then they had probably not only those 200,000. They invaded with about 350,000, or let's say 400,000. With those guys over there, plus the mobilization, plus how many they died, it should be around that. No more than that. No more than that. No more than 800,000. That's what I think. That's the number I came up with. Russian President Vladimir Putin on Thursday put the number of Russian troops in the zone of the special military operation in Ukraine at 617,000, with the contact line between Ukrainian and Russian forces stretching for over 2,000 kilometers, 1,242 miles. Now, why didn't he say we have 3 million people over there? If he would have said 3 million people, would have scared the shit out of the guys from NATO, and probably would create some problems inside Russia, public opinion and so on. So I think he was accurate. I think he was honest he can be, I guess. But let's move on and read further what this article has to say and talk about it. So the length of the contact line is over 2,000 kilometers. I'm quoting Putin. There are 617,000 people in the combat zone. Putin said during an annual televised press conference. The Ukrainian counteroffensive began on June 4th. Kiev has thrown into battle brigades trained by NATO instructors and armed with Western equipment, including Leopard and Challenger tanks. 3 months later, Russian President Putin said that Kiev's push had failed. I knew that in the first 3 days of the invasion counteroffensive, and I will tell you again why. Because the West did not trumpet its victories for about a week and a half. So I knew the counteroffensive started. The Russians were reporting on it, and not only. The Ukrainians were just giving some clues. The Western media kept its mouth shut, and I said, it's not going as intended, otherwise they will trumpet, hey, they broke the front, they did this. They kept quiet for about a week and a half, or 10 days. After 10 days, they said, yeah, the counteroffensive is here, and we are going to destroy this. And I say, oh, the counteroffensive is already dead right there. Why? When you have this kind of counteroffensive, it's a surprise, the surprise effect, and that's gone in 10 days, don't you think? That means without that one, you remain from 100%, you remain with about 60%, or let's say 50%, because 50% will be the surprise. All right, so it's 3 months later, Putin said Kiev's push had failed, with Ukraine suffering huge casualties. Several Western officials also admitted that the Ukrainian counteroffensive had not been successful so far. All right, we got that one. It's a stalemate over there, and it seems like the Russians are really advancing in Kupiansk, which is north. Let me see. In Kupiansk, I will show you this little map here, a different one that I usually use. Let's go here. This is the map. So in Kupiansk, which is this area right here, this is Ukraine, just so you know. But I will show you it. It's bigger than this. But I will go to Kupiansk. This is the region right in Kupiansk, which is things are bad for the Ukrainians. And then you got this area which is Avdiivka, which is bad, and supposedly Marinka right here is already conquered by the Russians. As you can tell, the town is done. It's just like 37 houses around here and 2 streets left. So this is where the counteroffensive is dead. The Russians are pushing back. The Westerners understand that probably Ukrainians don't have any more manpower, and they will have elections, so they get ready with that thing. Not that really matters. I mean, the guys that will continue the garbage will be voted in the office, because these are the people that we're supposed to vote for when they are brought forth in front of us, like A, B, C, D, and they're all garbage. Not all. I mean, I got my favorites in this, but I don't think once they get in power, if they get in power, the bureaucrats and guys behind everything that run the show will allow them to do anything. The clear example, you can study Trump. Trump was the president, but his hands were tied. He couldn't do shit. Nothing. Even the people in his own party did not vote for to implement his, whatever he pushed for. Remember how hard it was for him to get the money for the wall. What, $5 billion from the military somehow, like this, because his own party. I mean, he was sabotaged every little turn that he took. He asked FBI and DOJ, Department of Justice, to investigate that laptop. Nobody did. He fired left and right, and then the guys that were hired were the same guys, different names. So for you, if you want to study how this really functions, just look at those 4 years of Trump, and there's so many things that, if you are not even skeptical, if you really believe that this is great and fantastic and the greatest democracy, look at the mass media, how it just pushed a button, everything was bad. How the judges, people from his own party, governmental institutions, they were supposed to be under his orders, did not follow his directives whatsoever. Then you got other weasels, and this was just clear. Who wants to see? If you don't want to see, you're not going to see. Everything is perfect until you lose, and when you lose and it hurts, then maybe you're going to say, why does it hurt? But if you want to live in denial, you're going to find a justification that fits your needs. and you're going to go to your safe space over there, and you're going to say, oh, I think it's because evil and bad people, like I knew in the kindergarten, because I'm still in the kindergarten with my level. That's exactly what I think. Thank you very much for being with me again today. Stay strong, stay smart, look for the truth, and be just.